What's up, guys? This is what if issei was reincarnated in high school. In Dragon Ball Z. Now you might be a Dragon Ball technically, but still. Might be wondering how the hell is this gonna happen? Well, the verse they collide in a sense. And it's an odd moment that even the Omni King feels, and he says leave it alone because he didn't feel any crazy power from it, so he felt it wasn't a big deal. Little did he know. Thing is, we're gonna start this off with Issei. It's about 5,000 years after High School DxD ends. He's already, reached his peak. He's the strongest demon alive. He's unstoppable. But him and Drake make a deal. It's been years. He's gotta die at some point, so he's had his ruling. His kids are almost on his level. They can take over for him. As he says a final goodbye to all of his wives, as he was to die then, as he died. But he didn't die in any normal way. He died after defeating his biggest threat, Volley, with one strike. Volley was knocked out. But he was already weakened after all these years. Volley, on the other hand, had just been dividing his strength and found a way to divide life energy, basically making it as if Issei had been around for millions of years instead of the only 5,000 he had been around for. As a final goodbye, he shot one final dragon shot that was a kind of warning that anyone who went attacking the demons would have to face a threat far stronger than himself. And they believed it, so whenever Issei died, a final passing would happen. Not too much after, his entire harem died too. Sad. But let's get back into the what if. Now, in this version, we get to see something completely different. Issei has all of his memories, but he's a baby, again. So is Goku. They're both babies, and they're found right next to each other. Although, all Issei was found with was one little, covering, I don't know, I'm gonna say he was, found with a small red t-shirt. For a baby, a red shirt. And Goku was in his Saiyan armor. Thing is, Issei, with all his memories, forgot one thing. He forgot the Dragon Ball anime that he watched in the world. Because he did know what that fucking was. He knew who Goku was and all that. But in this version, it's not the same. He doesn't remember that. He doesn't know what the events are. He has no fucking clue. What he does know is how to train up Drake. And he can talk to Drake in his mind still. Thing is, over the years, Issei was a very calm baby. And his name was kind of figured out because it was written on his chest of the red shirt. Or actually, I'd say he had he basically was able to tell Grandpa Gohan what his name was. And he just went, or Grandpa Gohan even went with Issei and Goku. Those were the two names he chose in this version. And yeah, same thing. Now, this reads a whole different series. As Issei and Goku don't really, when they're growing up, they're basically like brothers. They're the same age. But Issei notices something. He still has his demon wings. Not really control of them, but he can turn them out. He can pull them out and on again. It's like when he first became a devil. It's as if he's born a devil in this version. So, yeah. And if y'all want to say that none of the humans are anywhere near like that, oh come on, Tien hasn't aged since Dragon Ball. His clothes have changed. His physique has changed, but he hasn't really aged. Krillin goes the same exact fucking way. Yeah, Yamcha's aged a little bit, but not really at all. Besides, there's Roshi. He's an immortal, so let's leave that. So, as we know, Issei's going through his life. Things seem pretty fucking normal for him, actually. Though he thinks he may be able to live for 5,000 years. He hopes so, at least. This is when Issei wasn't sure what's going on. He was wondering what he should do. But he noticed that he actually wanted to fight this world. He wanted to see what he could do. Having a demon's kind of battle tendencies, in a sense. Him and Goku trained every day. Issei brought something with him, though. A large sword. the Dragon Slayer sword is with him. In High School DxD, the boosting gear went to a new wielder and the sword went somewhere else. But somehow Issei brought a version of them both with him. As strong as they were in canon. Anyway, as Goku and Issei grow up, once they reach the age of 12, Bulma appears. Now, one day, Grandpa Gohan was still crushed by, Goku. But Issei, his anger, seeing the one he's thinking of as his grandpa, would all he remembered was how to train his gear, how to turn it on, and this wouldn't even actually, no, he doesn't remember that. He remembers literally nothing, but his sword was with him, and surprisingly enough, Goku is in that grade 8 form, and doesn't have any, when Issei sees this, he's enraged, and he flies forward, trying to stab at the great monkey. Not knowing where the hell Goku is. Not knowing the monkey is Goku. He's actually able to deal a little bit of damage with hits. But when he tries cutting it with the blade, it moves out the way and hits him in the mouth, sending him crashing into the house. Grandpa Gohan, in his final moments, would grab the boy. Now, the thing is, the moon is about to go up. The sun's about to come up. So, yeah. Goku is back to his normal form. And looks, they're all injured. They're confused who the fuck that was. But Grandpa Gohan knows, and he doesn't want to tell Issei. He says, "Listen, my boy. Never look at the moon." The thing is, Issei's wings were always out of his body. So, one of them has demon wings, the other one has a monkey tail. Yeah. Well, let's get back into this what if. Now, as Issei is growing older with Goku, they've trained every day, never looking at the moon. And for Issei, never going to anywhere that was holy. That's what Grandpa Gohan told them. Don't go doing those two things. Or really, it probably wasn't holy, it was more like never, yada yada. I don't fucking know what he would tell Issei. But in this version, when Issei and Goku go out, they're gadgeting the fish, in this version, they have a better idea. Issei using his sword, which, if you're wondering how the fuck that sword stays sharp for all those years, which most of us would be wondering, it's because it's a magic sword. It can stay sharp for 10,000 years, yada yada yada. I don't fucking know. Anime bullshit, magic activate. Alright, that's why. Now, he carries that sword on his, I'm going to say back, where Goku carries the power pole. And when Bulma appears, she shoots at Goku. Issei, who knows he can't keep up with this, he doesn't know how to keep up with the bullets, but he's around the same strength as Goku, so he can take a bullet shot, and he's standing up pretty easy. He's only got 2 wings, though, so yeah. He flies forward and strikes at Bulma. Bulma, seeing a sword, just chopped her car right in fucking half. And Goku picked up the other half and chucked it. Using the power pole, they're almost ready to kill her, but this is when Issei realizes there's a girl. And actually tells Goku to stop for a second. Goku listening pretty well to his brother. They wound up stopping the fight, talking with Bulma. Issei and Goku, neither of them want to give up the Dragon Ball. But, at the same time, they're not sure if they should. Now, in this version, whenever they're done with, their training and stuff like that, well, not much training, but more like what they're doing, with Bulma, they wind up going and doing what she wants. They help her with the Dragon Balls, they go get those, and because Issei and Goku are around the same strength, and Issei has flight control over his boosting gear, he only has it in the first form. He's never had a battle drawn out long enough for him to get the full version of it. So, after about hours of training, when they're done, so we're basically going to skip through Dragon Ball because basically everything would go almost as the same as canon with a small difference. The only difference is really being Goku would have someone on his level the whole time and a rival faster since the beginning. And while, surprisingly enough, Issei can't use the Kamehameha. But he developed his own technique with the gear. As he called it, Dragon Shot. It was a small little ball of energy that blasted after he punched it. It was on the same level as a Kamehameha, honestly, after about 3 boosts. This is when they're actually wondering, what the fuck? Because they've never seen Issei with his gear off. Well, they've never seen him usually use his gear unless it's actually emergency. Thing is, gears aren't really a thing, so they think it's just like, oh, something he puts on and starts training and starts fighting with. Whatever. They don't really notice it. But he does tell them it's kind of part of him. And Roshi, of all people, said, huh, impressive. Well, it looks like it's part of that special thing for you only. Okay. So he thinks the boosting gear is just his ability. Now, this is when we get a little bit of training in. Now, we're talking about the end of Dragon Ball. Piccolo Jr. was taken out. They've knocked him around a little bit. Now the only one left in this battle would be the more annoying and probably harder to fight, in all honesty. Raditz. In this version, when Raditz gets to Earth, he feels 3 power levels. Boom, boom, and boom. Those big 3 ones are Piccolo, Goku, and Issei. Though Issei being around made it where the final battle wasn't between Piccolo and Goku. It was between Issei and Goku. The rules are no weapon allowed, but honestly, Issei really didn't need to use the boosting gear. They're basically on a stalemate, so while Goku knows Issei's stronger, at this point Goku's learned a little bit about his, monstrous form, as he calls it. And there's only moments Issei can turn on that boosting gear. Now, when Dragon Ball is done and they're fighting Raditz, Issei turns on his boosting gear. And they're fighting. And the thing is, Issei doesn't bring his sword. He keeps his sword on him, yes, he just isn't using it. He doesn't feel like he needs it. Now, they're fighting pretty damn good, but this is when, surprisingly enough, they noted that they needed to change the way of fighting. So they drop Issei, setting his sword and everything down, taking off his waiting clothes. Because this is what he's dressed like. And those are all weighted the way Goku's are. So, yeah, he took them off, and they're fighting against Raditz. Now, this is when Goku would actually, first time ever seeing it, see how things change. Issei was in this battle for almost 20 minutes. His gear would have awakened, and you hear boost, boost, boost. After 3 boosts, he was ripping Raditz apart, since his power level was around 400 or 500. Around 400 with Goku. So it was almost 500 whenever he was, boosting once. 400. It was actually about 800 after 1 boost. 1600 after the next. And a little over 3000 after the last one. So he was absolutely owning this guy. Absolutely owning Raditz. So Raditz, seeing that he's getting his ass kicked, decides to say, fuck this shit, I'm out, and tries to escape. But at the same time, Piccolo got him with that special boom cannon, Goku hit him with Kamehameha, and a dragon shot hit him from Issei. Now Goku's not trying to kill him. He's really not. So he asks him to stop before he dies. This is when Raditz tries to kill Gohan. And if you're wondering, who is Issei with? Well, okay, I kind of hate that I'm doing this because, it's not supposed to be Issei in High School DxD, though, but, for the first time ever, I'm integrating a full group into it. Rias reincarnated in this anime as well, in Dragon Ball as well in this version. She's part of a rich family. Basically, the entirety of the Occult Research Club reincarnated. But Gasper and Kiba's reincarnations were girls. Yeah. They all reincarnated into Dragon Ball at the same time as Issei. Though they've lived very different lives, all of them strive for the same kind of power they had in their previous life, and they all have their same abilities. The Nekomata girl is still, Konako is still a Nekomata. She's still a cat girl, she's a cat girl in this version. Asya still has her healing abilities. Basically, all of them are the exact same as they were in High School DxD, but they're aged up a little bit different. Like, they're all about the same age they were whenever High School DxD ended. So, yeah. So, yeah. Here's where we get to see a whole difference. Because a group would appear. A female swordsman was there, as she took steps and actually tried stabbing at the strong Saiyan, absolutely getting owned. This would be the wives of Issei. A woman wielding destruction energy with no wings. Goku decided to keep his tail in this version when Issei was telling him, well, I mean, it is part of your original body, why don't you just keep it? Besides, if the only problem is the moon, we can control that shit, right? Like, you can look at the moon, and whenever you need to go ape shit, I got you, bro. I can calm you down. Mainly because they've said if Goku ever looks at the moon, they need to all start fighting, because they're gonna be fucked up. Thing is, this was kind of an agreed upon thing, so it's fine, so yeah. So, Goku has his tail, Issei still has his devil wings, he's never put them away. And his harem has actually... They do put their weapons and stuff away, but they decide actually not to attack anymore because after Kiba gets... Yeah, it's still going with his name, Kiba. Kiba tries to stab, gets sent flying. Basically, they're all there. But in this version, being that Tien and Yamcha actually are getting there, and Chi-Chi, while she stayed home in this version, she wants to be there, so she's kind of thinking about going... She winds up grabbing the, flying car thing she has. I think she has in this version, she has a flying machine. Like, it's a plane or something. She can fly all the way there. She used that to get there in this version, though it took her a long-ass time. Since she didn't want to go, but she eventually did. So, yeah. Back to What If. Here's where we get to see that Issei ain't nobody to fuck with, as he is actually, as they just defeated Raditz. Raditz's final words were, in a few months, there will be someone far stronger than me. Well, in 1 year, 2 Saiyans far stronger than I am will come here and destroy your planet. Problem with that, even if they're going to do that, they're kind of screwed. And what do you think I mean by kind of screwed? I mean, unless they got a fucking always in grade 8 form, they're fucked. So, yeah. Issei's ready for a fight. And his wives all tell him, calm down. But his son, his oldest son, who is the same age as Gohan, they're all the same age, being half devil, actually, you know what, being probably full devil, even reincarnated, as well as Rosweisa, I don't fucking know her name. Yeah, she would reincarnate as well. They would both, and one being an angel, but not like high school, not like Dragon Ball angel, but like High School DxD angel type thing. And yeah. So, being that Issei is called the devil, he's called a demon. He's called the Z Fighter's demon, and Goku's called the greatest of apes in the Z Fighter is called the greatest of apes. So it's kind of pretty cool to hear. But whenever this version, they see what they're needing to do. Issei showing his new variation of it. He knows how to turn it on and off, but he doesn't want to turn it off just yet. He wants to keep going, see how much he can boost to. He can boost all the way up to 20. After he hit 20, he was exhausted though, so he turned it off. Kind of having trouble with it. Though, this was like a record setter. Like, no one's ever gone, like, first time using it, like, full extent, going to 20. After you're able to boost to about 20 times, you're able to, like, usually use the the third variation, which he is able to use. And I'd say even the probably fourth. He's got the one Issei had in canon whenever he was fighting against Cyber-Org. But, I know I'm saying but a lot, but here we go. So we get to see Issei, they're training for the 1 year. Thing is, Before Raditz died, he took someone with him. He was going to try killing Issei, but instead wound up his brother being the one that wound up taking that attack. Seeing that his nephew was about to get attacked, the one he's called his nephew his whole life, since the kid was born, Issei was willing to take that attack too, but he wasn't fast enough. He was the strongest there, yes, and he was probably fastest, but Goku was just close to the pod, and he jumped in the way first. He was the farthest from the pod, though. So when they actually wound up seeing that they need to do this shit, they're worried. As Goku sadly passed away, Issei is looking eye to eye with Piccolo, and they said, "Two Saiyans, stronger than he is. Let's train for it." Issei actually having an idea. Would he be needed for this? Like, couldn't he just go, with Goku on Snake Way? He was thinking about it and wound up deciding not to. Besides, he had needed to train with the Z fighters to get as strong as possible, yada yada yada. So their bare minimum goal is to get 1,500. That's their easy goal. But that easy goal isn't always that easy to attain. They wind up doing their year training. Goku gets back power level 10,000. Issei's power level when he gets back around 10,000 as well. Piccolo is around 7,000. His harem isn't that really powerful. They're all in like the 50 and 70 range. And then we've got the entirety of the Z Fighters, who are actually a lot above that. Like, they are crazy high. They're all in like 2,000s. Hell, even that one little pale dude, forgot what his name was. Chaozu, yeah, Chaozu. Even he was a pretty high power level, at about 1,500. Thing is, with all the Z Warriors that are at 2,000, Issei at 10,000, Piccolo at 7,000, they're kind of all seeing the differences. And that's the Z Warriors' current holding back. I'll say what their power levels are when they're fully going all out. Goku and Issei aren't holding back, though. Piccolo, still somewhat holding back, with his weights on. Though when he throws them off, his power level raises to 990. 9,999. He's literally one shy of 10,000. They're all like 10,250, 10,350. Yeah, Goku having the higher of the power levels. And all the humans, when they full let loose, they're going crazy high up, though. They're all power levels each equal up into like the 6,000 range, each of them. They're all like in 6,000. And Chaozu is sadly still only at 4,500. Gohan, though. Gohan's one who shows the biggest difference in power level. He's done nothing but train with the wielder of a boosting gear and a super and one of the last Saiyans. So we're saying he's strong as a motherfucker. So he gonna be big boy. Thing is, how is he going to be that powerful? What's he going to do to get that power? What will we put him in? Well, what should we put him in? Oh, I don't know. Fucking training. And because he's been doing nothing but training with his uncle and Piccolo for almost a year, he is not weak. Hell, he even knows the value of training at this point. Protecting the weak. And his power level reaches 7,997. When calm. Which will come like times 10 when pissed off. That's why he's so much of a fucking threat. Because he only needs one moment of being pissed off to kill everyone in the room at once. So why it seems so crazy that he's one of them. So yeah. But back to the what if. When Tien is actually holding back on, Nappa. Kicking his ass easily, yes. Only showing about 5,000 power level though. Nappa's having trouble believing anyone can kick his ass so easily. So he's trying. This is when, surprisingly enough, Chaozu is who he's aiming at. And he actually wound up trying to kill Chaozu. Does it work? Yes. Sadly for Chaozu. Rest in peace. Chaozu, being very fucked up, says, ow, and kind of dies out. But before he died, he did something really fucked up that only he would probably do. Well, not only him, but like something he did in canon that in this version fucking worked. He knew he wouldn't need to, but he was already dying. He knew he was dying. Hell, he was almost ripped in half. Actually, in this version, he was ripped in half. The Z Fighters saw this and they were pissed. But before anything, Chaozu's legs locked onto the leg of Nappa, and his arms locked onto the neck of Nappa. And he yelled, "Bye, motherfucker," or something in the nature of that. Blew himself the fuck up. Blew Nappa the fuck up. And Nappa got into the Nappa pose, or the Yamcha pose as it's called in canon. Yamcha is actually the first one to is actually going to be the first one to go against Vegeta in this version. Except for the fact Vegeta didn't want to test his fucking chances, went into Grade 8 form and started kicking their ass. Yamcha's fighting on damn near even levels. Like, he's grabbing his leg, holding him down. Krillin's doing the other leg, and basically all the Z-Warriors are grabbing legs. Like, all the humans got a leg. And even Gohan is after only one leg. But he winds up trading with Piccolo. Piccolo taking on the right arm of Vegeta. This is when, surprisingly enough, Issei sees what's going on. Gohan looks at the moon, and he is going to kick this ass. Like, all the ass. Like, he's planning to kick some ass. Like, he's planning on killing Vegeta at this point. And, surprisingly enough, when Goku got there, with tail still, he flew in there and just shot in like a rocket. His son being in the Grade 8 form, noting that his son wasn't strong enough, but Issei was fighting with him on par to par. Like, they were going 2v1ing this guy. And like I said, 10,000 power level, meet boost. And after 2 boosts, he was equivalent to a Kaioken times 4. Though this made it where it was a whole different fight. Issei wasn't able to keep up for long, since it was, well, 1800. Hold on, just give me a second, guys. There's 10, 20, 40, 20, 40, 80, fucking 160. Yeah, he could probably do it. But this is when we get to see him fully like full on going all out, using his gear. And he even used something he wasn't expecting. Whenever he saw that there was actually going to be an attack that they couldn't block, he yelled, "Divide." And he doesn't know where it came from. He doesn't know why he yelled divide. But his other arm shot out with a gauntlet that was pitch white. And it divided his power level 1 time. That was it. And if you're calling bullshit, Issei can't divide, that's Volley's power. Read the anime, watch the anime, fucking do it, and you'll see that Issei does have the power of division. And it's just not very good, comparative to his boosting, but still. Back to the what if. So this is when we can see a whole difference in the battle. With Vegeta cut his power cut in half, and basically royally fucked up, he's kinda done with the fight. Yeah, he collapses. He falls right next to a space pod, jumps in, yells, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," sent a Galagun in his final message, with the pod open and him flying away. Vegeta only has enough grip, only the ability to grab one of those fucking things, hold on, and start shooting ki blasts at them, mainly just to slow them down. Now, they're all about to attack with a blast, but this is when Goku said no, he's not a threat anymore. Sadly, though, before he left, what did you think he fucking killed? Piccolo. Because he was going to try to kill Gohan. And Issei at the same time, but Piccolo knew that Issei couldn't stack up with this one, and they kind of needed him to live, so he kind of jumped in the way of a grade ape attack to protect, the boy he basically teaches like he is, basically treats like his son. Now, as we see a beaten to hell Piccolo dying right then, Issei straight up said, "Ah, shit." And actually, Yamcha is the one who comes up with the, "Hey, why don't we just, Go to wherever Piccolo's from. Maybe they've got more there. This was actually something that he was actually wondering for a little bit. Surprising enough out of everyone, Krillin said, "Huh, I know who to talk to about this." Really, who? Only one person we can talk to about this. Which one? Well, isn't it obvious? Popo. Okay, let's go talk to Popo. Popo, hearing his name, saying, "What's good?" The large genie looks at them and saying that, "Huh. So what do y'all want?" They talked to him about the spaceship and everything, and he said, "Yeah, there's a few." So, what's left of, like, all of the spaceships, like, you've got the space pods of all of them that are left over. Goku even flying to Mount Paozu, picking his own up and throwing it there too, saying, "Well, I guess this'll work." So this is where a difference would occur. So yeah, we have a whole different like story unfolding at this point. Them going to that to the place. Thing is, there's a difference. Issei decided to stay behind with Goku. And, best way of putting it, they gonna do some fucking training. The main group when in canon still goes, except for the fact there's 2 more members. Both basically not having a bed, dragging a mattress on board the ship. Yeah. As they laid down, all went to sleep, yada yada yada. In the daytime, they were training in the ship, because there was a pretty durable place, and they could keep up. Bulma would tell them not to be too loud and don't go too hard on it. They would only ever, like, go body blows and everything. Like, they were trying to fight, but they weren't exactly trying to hit the ship, so, yeah. They did some good light training the whole month while they were going there. Goku and Issei, well, once Goku was recovered, because, he wasn't exactly in the best shape after the fight, they go on the other ship. They get to this other ship, and the whole 5 days is all that they had to train, but they trained every waking moment, doubling their power levels easily from where they would need to be for this fight, both ending up with a 5,000 power level. But, well, one of them has boost, the other has Kaioken, and they kept using the boost and Kaioken repetitively as kind of a 1-1-1-1 type thing. And they thought it was funny as fuck that their basic abilities now are pretty much the same. Thing is, Goku couldn't go into his grade 8 form to fully challenge Issei, since Issei does have the ability to go into more than 10 boosts, while Goku can't even go into 5 Kaiokens yet. By the end, he was able to go into 20 Kaiokens and fight Issei on an even level, who can go into 20 boosts, but that's about it. Now, this is when a small difference would happen when they make it there. They both acted like Krillin was their best friend since they was younger. Yamcha actually got along better with Issei, though, so yeah. Now, in this version, they all get there, they do their thing, they still save Dende, yada yada yada. But in this version, Goku is there too. When he, is there too, when he makes it there with Issei, there's a whole difference. They're double the power level they needed for this. They don't know how strong Frieza is, but they know their power levels both reach in the 500,000 category. So when they walk in there, Frieza's like, "What the devil is that? These things can measure my power level." Well, too fucking bad, Frieza. Because the second these guys walk in, they walk out there ready to kick some ass. Issei, first instinct, kicks the literal shit out of Jace. Goku speed blitzes Burter. Yeah, Jason Burter has 0 chance in this. Ginyu tries swapping bodies with Goku. He tried swapping bodies with Issei, but by the time he tried doing that, he was stopped. But you're wondering, what stopped him? Well, he was stopped by the only thing that could have stopped him. He was stopped by basically getting body swapped with Goku again. When he tried swapping to Issei, he body swaps a frog because Vegeta thought it would be funny to throw a frog in the way. When Vegeta attempts to kill said frog, issei says, "Hold on," and actually picks the frog up. Vegeta asks why he's sparing the thing, and this is when he said he's not. Sorry about that, guys. As he would basically just pick the frog up and chuck it as hard as he fucking could, yelling, "Aim and fire!" Vegeta straight up shooting this like it was 5 different fucking things, laughing his ass off afterwards. And this is when, surprisingly enough, you hear, "Good job, Vegeta." I was hoping you had that good of a marksmanship. Didn't really want to have to be the one to shoot it myself. Good. And this is when we get to see issei basically kind of get along with Vegeta for the first time. And this is when he actually said, "For a human, you're not that bad." And this is when he said, "Well, I'm not really a human." "Then what are you?" "I am a demon." "A what?" "A demon." You might be thinking, what the fuck? This is when he showed his wings off that I guess Vegeta never got the chance to see. And he said, "Where's your horns then? I thought demons had horns. And I thought you'd be waiting for me in hell." "No. I was found when I was a baby by the same person who found, Goku." "So a Saiyan and a demon grew up together." "Yep. And what's that?" "Called the boosting gear. Houses a giant red dragon." "That sounds badass." Nice. Anyway, this is when Goku, and issei would have to deal with Frieza. Now, Frieza saw his first form be useless, so he went into a second one. He saw his second form would be damn near useless as well. They revive Piccolo. Right when they're about to revive, Dende. Not Dende. Right when they're about to revive, Chaozu. Sorry about that, guys. Chaozu doesn't get the chance to be revived because he's completely unneeded, because they actually need to revive Piccolo since he may be needed. They revived him Piccolo, but they do send him to Namek, thinking they could just, revive both of them. Didn't work out very well, but they didn't specify where on Namek, so they're actually busy fighting against Frieza when a fusion between Nail and Piccolo come out and kicks Frieza in the head. Frieza angry in his third form, so he goes into his final form. Goku is still bad, isn't really injured at all though, so yeah. Well, he's absolutely out of luck because they're about to get into another fist fight. Having Dende heal him though a little bit, so it was pretty fine. But now that they've got the final person out of the way, who else do they need to revive? No one. They can't get the chance. Because Frieza's trying to use the wish. They're all really trying to use the wish to revive something or become immortal. But there's a difference now. They don't get the chance to do that. Because, out of everyone, Dende had an idea. He talked to, King Kai, and King Kai talked to Popo, and Kami and all that, and this is when they actually decided to take everyone off of planet Namek and take them all to Earth. Except for maybe Goku and Frieza, because Goku still went Super Saiyan when Krillin died. But not only him, Yamcha was lifted up the same way and killed as well. And guess what? It ain't happy. They're mad. They look at their best friends. Issei, enraged, doesn't just go into some Super Saiyan form. His gear basically laughing its ass off, saying, "You fucked up the one known as Frieza." Going into his, balance breaker. As you hear, boost, 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 boost. After about a fuck ton of boosts, he's reached a high enough level to kill Frieza. Issei, who's in Super Saiyan now, says, "You're dead." This being enough to be like, oh, shit. Literally getting jumped by this from this. Only thing is, Goku is Super Saiyan in it. But still, sorry about the guys. But, here we go. Now, the final bit of the fight is done in like a mean-ass fucking message kind of sending way. As Issei absolutely dogs Frieza. Now, we're going to end this off around, like, same time as normal of my new videos timing, so yeah. As this is kind of like the final bit of it. they finally defeat Frieza. Thing is, on the last moment, there's 2 ships. Well, they can't get one of them to start. They can get the other one to start. And it was a little space pod. Thing is, there was a second space pod in this version right next to it. Issei grabbed it and didn't even have time to set coordinates. They would have both gone to Yardrat. But, surprisingly enough, Issei, the one that Issei found wasn't the same one. It was a whole different spaceship. It was Vegeta's. And he actually had coordinates to go to Earth after this. So it sent him to Earth. Now this is when we get to see a whole difference. Well, Issei gets back doing his training. Doesn't really get much in. Like, he doesn't really do much. Now, the whole future Trunks thing still happens, and he recognizes who, like, because in his timeline they still have an Issei. But that Issei is kind of killed. Thing is, he was able to give someone his gear before he died. He gave it to Gohan as a final goodbye, being that he knew he was dying, so basically, in their final moments, he gave the gear. Don't ask me if that's how it fucking works. In this version, it is. As he gave it to Gohan to boost around and do the fighting, a Super Saiyan boosting gear Gohan has been fighting the androids. But note, it's not really working very well. Now, that was when they would finally kind of see him dead. Before, he wasn't quite dead yet. Only mostly. His final moment, he gave the gear to Trunks. As he kind of died. Trunks getting Super Saiyan and the gear at once, he roared out going into Balance Breaker and in Super Saiyan. A Super Saiyan Balance Breaker basically has the back of the helmet off so your hair can come out. As he was enraged enough, this shook the planet. This is the end of, like, part 1, so later, guys.